Good morning. Good to be here. As if anyone would say anything different, talking in front of people. I am here today to share with you a lesson I think is very important, and that lesson is simply awkward conversations can change lives. Awkward conversations can change lives. God uses awkward conversations every day. In the world of evangelism, God uses awkward conversations to bring salvation to people. But I want to focus today on discipleship. Discipleship is someone coming alongside you, helping you grow, helping you mature, helping you be a fruitful disciple maker who helps fulfill the Great Commission of making disciples of all nations. And when you, in turn, go to someone else and invest your life into them, and you can say to them, like Paul says in 1 Corinthians 11:1, follow me as I follow the example of Christ. I would contend that awkward conversations are actually essential to disciple making. We see Jesus doing this throughout the Gospels. There's a lot there, and probably more than is recorded, but I want to highlight one. It's a pretty long one as conversations go, and it involves Peter, the loudmouth. I relate to Peter. But it starts in Mark chapter 14 and it ends in John 21. And in Mark chapter 14, we see Jesus telling his disciples right before his arrest that you will all fall away. You'll leave me alone. And Peter boldly stands up and says, even if I must die with you, I will not leave you. So Jesus starts his hard, awkward conversations with Peter. He says, Peter, before the rooster crows, you're going to deny me 3 times. Already it's awkward. We keep reading, we see that Peter does indeed deny Jesus 3 times, and he's pretty broken up about it. We continue reading, we see Jesus dies, he's resurrected, he sees many of his disciples, and then in John 20 and 21, we find Jesus on the beach having breakfast with his boys. And he continues that awkward conversation with Peter. In the Gospel of John, it refers to Peter as Simon, son of John here. Jesus asked Peter, Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? And you know Peter's just sitting there going, I knew this was coming. Yes, Lord, you know that I love you. Okay, we're past it. I'm back in, says Peter. Then Jesus says, Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? Like, oh, that hurts. Yeah, I probably deserve that one too. Yes, Lord, you know that I love you. But then a third time, real awkward. There's other people there, by the way, that are listening to this exchange happening. And Jesus asks a third time, Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? And right now, Peter's probably thinking, seriously, Jesus? You're going to stab me in the heart, then twist the knife too? But in a bold act of humility, Peter says, yes, Lord, you know all things. You know that I love you. I would contend that is a trajectory, life-changing conversation that Peter had that day, because we read Acts and we see that he is the one who stands up at Pentecost and boldly proclaims the gospel to the thousands. He is the one that sees salvation come to the Gentiles in the family of Cornelius. Awkward conversations change lives. I've had a number, way more than my 2 hands and feet can count, awkward conversations in my own life. And let me tell you about one. In the summer of 2008, as a college student, I went out to Denver, Colorado for a discipleship training program called Project Impact. The director's name is John Kelsey. He's still alive. It's still John Kelsey. And I just called him Kels. And about a third way through the summer, he invited me out to lunch. And obviously, I'm going to take up free lunch. So we went to a local Thai place. We're sweating our guts out because it's spicy. And we're having a great conversation, sharing what we're learning, scripture memory, all the good things. And then he says, Brady, I wanted to talk to you about some stuff, some observations I've made. Is that okay if I share those with you? I'm like, yeah, by all means. He says, Brady, people listen to what you have to say. Your personality is engaging, and your words have influence. I'm thinking, yeah, I suppose you're right. And he says, and right now, that's not a good thing. Oof. I started sweating a little bit more at that moment. But that was awesome. The conversation obviously continued, and it was really great. But I'm telling you, that is a trajectory-changing conversation that was had in my life. I am here today doing what I do for a job, which ask me later, because of what God did with that conversation in 2008. I will remember that conversation for the rest of my life. And I will put money down that Peter remembered that conversation that he had with Jesus on the beach that day for the rest of his life, and that he thought about it often. Awkward conversations can change lives. Let me leave you with this, Hebrews 3:13. Exhort one another every day, as long as it is called today, so that none of you may be hardened by the deceitfulness of sin. Exhortation, encouragement, rebuke, teaching, it's all awkward, and it's all hard. It never really gets easier, but it also kind of does get easier. But that doesn't excuse us from being faithful to have those conversations. So as somebody who is walking with someone, embrace and enter into those hard conversations. As someone on the receiving end, humble yourself. Humble yourself and receive that. So let's be faithful. Let's get awkward. Thank you.